Hi everyone and welcome to NameHero.com. In today's video tutorial, I want to talk about our partnership with Immunify 360 and how along with them and our malware scanning that we're protecting your WordPress and other accounts. So if you've hosted a WordPress website in the past, it's likely you've been told, keep your WordPress install updated, keep your plugins updated, and keep your themes updated. Anytime you're running an out-of-date installation of WordPress, you leave your website vulnerable. And that's the same for not just WordPress, but for any PHP, MySQL-based scripts such as vBulletins, N4o, Joomla, Drupal, really any of them. If you run them out of date, then you're leaving your website open to be attacked or to be penetrated with malware. So first, let me just talk really quick so you understand why this happens. So a lot of people, when they get injected, their websites get injected with malware. They're really upset, and reasonably so. But they wonder why. Why was my website a target? Was someone out to get me? Well, the truth be told is, every single website online is a target. There's no real, yes, some niches or niches, however you pronounce that, they can be more vulnerable because certain attackers are looking for certain specific websites to deface and to penetrate. But for the most part, what we see nowadays in 2018, heading into 2019, is malware injections. If you're running WordPress or if you're running Joomla, Drupal, or any other PHP, MySQL, CMS system, all those sites are a target. And the reason being, WordPress specifically is the most popular content management system in the world. It powers like 25% of the internet. And, I'd say that's even an understatement with the recent growth they've had in just the last couple of years. But they're an open source project. And when you have an open source project, this means that anyone in the world can go to WordPress.org, they can download WordPress, and then they have instant access to the source code. So when you give an attacker access to the source code, they can find loopholes to penetrate it. And what these attackers want to do is when they get inside of your WordPress, they have an objective. And most of the time it's to send spam, to create phishing attacks. So let's back up a second. So first you have the spam. So if you've ever in your Gmail, go to your spam folder and you'll see the type of emails they try to send out. It's junk email. It's stuff that you don't want to buy. The Viagra pills, the diet pills, skincare offers and stuff like that. So these spammers are looking to gain access to your account so they can send out these unsolicited emails with their offers, and they make money that way. So that's one. Two is phishing. So for example, attackers might copy the Bank of America login or a PayPal login, and then they'll create a page on your website and deep down in your file structure that looks like PayPal, so they can send out spam to people to where they think they're logging into PayPal when they're actually logging into the attacker's phishing website, and with the goal of capturing that person's username and password to the bank, to PayPal, or many other different sites. I think we're recently seeing it. We've seen it always with Facebook. I think recently there was another company out there. Oh, Netflix. They just released something today that there's a phishing scheme going on with that. And so really that's another reason why they want to penetrate your WordPress website. Send out spam, send out phishing attacks and spam. And three, we see this with the popularity of crypto mining, is some attackers want to use your web hosting account to mine cryptocurrency. So they'll actually install a mining script on your web space to where it sucks the CPU power to mine Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. And so that's a newer attack that we've seen. But those are probably the three most common ones we see. Other ones include adware injection. So sometimes an attacker will gain access to your website, and then when your visitors go to your site, it's going to automatically install this malware or adware in the background of the user's computer. So for example, they hit your website and it starts downloading the software, and then they're compensated for those installs of that malicious stuff. So there's always an objective, and most of the time the objective comes down to making money on the dark side, making this illegitimate money. And this is why they want access to your web space, because of course the more sites they infect, the more money they're going to make. And if you sign up for an account at NameHero and you're a bad guy or gal and you're going to try to send spam, of course they're going to shut you down. So instead of just signing up for hosting, they know that they try to get in a legitimate user's account. And so it can be a really big pain in the butt. So now WordPress is open source. So the benefits to that is WordPress has grown and it's free because it has many developers looking at it. There's developers that make plugins and themes, and there's a core community that actually develops the WordPress core. And that's how it's developed to what it is today, is because it's open source. So it's got its pros, and then of course the cons is the source code's available to everyone. So with all this in mind, you can keep your WordPress website safe by keeping it updated, because as these security holes or vulnerabilities are discovered, they're patched. And so that's why you update the next version of WordPress, you update the plugins, you update your themes, and then that way your site stays safe and secure. You also want to use a strong username and password for WordPress. So when you go to your WP admin, you don't want to use admin and password, because an attacker, that's the first thing they're going to try. So, by keeping your website up to date and using a strong admin username and password, you can go leaps and bounds to keep your WordPress website safe and secure. Now, here at Name Hero, of course, this is an ongoing battle, to get all of our customers to keep WordPress up to date, to keep their themes updated and their plugins up to date. So recently, we've formed a partnership with Immunify 360, and let's pull this over here really quick. Immunify 360 is an organization that they specialize in preemptive security, proactive security. So it stops attacks. This is free for all Name Hero customers on our basic. If I go back to Name Hero, all of our basic and our reseller hosting packages. It's going to be available for our VPSs in 2019, so look for an announcement on that soon. There will unfortunately be a small license fee that you'll have to purchase if you want it for a VPS. But for all of our basic and reseller customers, the new customers, this is default. Now, we haven't added this to all of our servers yet, but we're certainly getting there. But Immunify, it actually stops attacks before they happen. And so this is developed by the same people who came out with Cloud Linux. And I actually had the pleasure this past October of going to the cPanel conference in Houston, and I got to have lunch with the CEO of Immunify and Cloud Linux. And that's where I really got onto it. And we've been quietly beta testing this since October, so from October till December. And now we're starting to roll this out on all of our servers. And as I said, if you go sign up today with Name Hero, our basic or our reseller, you're going to have it on your account. If you're an existing customer, we should have your server done. If not, it will be done here in 2019. We're working on pushing out to all of them. But anyways, so let's, you can go to their site and read about it. They've got a couple features they highlight. If I click features, it's a centralized incident management. So it works with an advanced firewall, blocking IDs, IPs, malware detection, their own proactive defense software, patch management, and reputation management. So you can go, I'm not going to go through all of this in detail right here, but basically it's constantly working and looking for attacks. And the cool thing I like about Immunify is it operates on artificial intelligence, meaning the more data it collects, the more efficient it gets. So it sees attacks and it learns how to protect against attacks. And so it's this kind of evolving software. And Igor did a fantastic job explaining this to me during our lunch, and then I ended up talking to some more of his team, reading up about it, and then beta testing it. And I'm really a strong believer in it. So again, this is a huge feature for our customers. And again, it's going to be 100%, or it is now, on our basic hosting and reseller hosting. It's 100% free in your account. And of course, there's no substitute for updating your WordPress, updating the plugins, updating the themes, and using a strong username and password. But on top of that, this adds another layer of protection against these attackers. Their advanced firewall, it helps detect, malicious IPs. And again, this is back to their artificial intelligence. These malicious IPs are coming out of everywhere. The more data it collects, the more efficient it gets at blocking these from the get-go. If we go on down here, they have an intrusion detection and protection system, meaning that if someone tries to log in, and this is not just WordPress, by the way, this is for all CMSs. This is for your account as a whole. So you can see on this screenshot, it says IXAM auth failed. So this is a failed email login. So it detects all that. So sometimes the malicious users will try to just log into your email, and they'll try all the users on your account. So this checks for that. This screenshot also shows someone's trying to log in to a non-existent user. Another SSH failed. So it's looking for all kinds of attacks and blocking them in real time. So not just WordPress, not just cPanel. It's looking for your FTP accounts. It's looking out for your SSH. It's looking out for your email accounts. The malware detection, and this is something I want to talk about mainly in this video, is the malware detection. It automatically scans files uploaded to your web space for malware. So if the attacker does gain access to your cPanel, and they start to upload files, this malware scanner inside of it's going to catch it, and it's going to stop the malware from being uploaded to your space. It's going to throw it into a quarantine. And I'm going to show you how to access that, because you can actually access that right from inside of cPanel. They've got their proactive defense. So let's say if you were migrating over from existing web hosts, for example, let's say you're moving from HostGator to NameHero, and let's say you've got this malicious files from while you're at HostGator, and you migrate you over, and you have this malicious file running. It's going to actually detect it, and it can stop it in real time. So as soon as it detects it, it can actually kill the script. There's patch management, and this has to deal with the kernels and hardening the PHP and stuff like that. Stuff on the actual back end of the server, which of course it does. And there's also reputation management, and this means if Google ever flags your website as being malicious, then it's actually going to alert you, so you know that you've been flagged, so you can start to investigate your site. So many different features, and again, you can go to Immunify360.com and read about all the features. They've got a really good website and a good knowledge base. But the purpose of this video is explaining that this comes on your account for free, and I want to show you how to use it. Okay, so before I display this, let's just talk really quick what happens when your WordPress website gets hacked. So you say, okay, Ryan, this is cool and all, but why do I really need this? Well, if your WordPress website's ever been hacked, or your website in general, you know how big of a pain in the butt it is to clean it up. So in this blog post, and you can search for this, you just type in how to clean up a WordPress hack, NameHero in Google, or go to our blog, namehero.com/startup, and you can type it in the search box here, and this will come up. And in this blog post, I talk about, what you need to do if your cPanel has been penetrated, if your website's been compromised. And you can see I talk about preventative maintenance. And this goes into using strong passwords, keeping the WordPress updated, keeping your own backups, and using a good WordPress security plugin. I still recommend all of this because it helps. Every layer you put in front of these bad guys and gals is another layer of security you have. Look at it like a home. When you go to bed at night or you leave your home, you lock the door. Now, a lot of doors have deadbolts. You not only lock the door handle, you also lock the deadbolt. It's just another layer of protection. Some homes have security systems. You actually set a security system before you leave. If someone opens the door when it's set, it goes off. Some homes have cameras. So then if someone comes, they've got it on camera. So it's, again, more layers of protection, just like securing your home, securing your website's the same thing. So, preventative maintenance is a huge thing. We do this nightly malware scanning at NameHero, and we have for a long time. But now with Immunify, we're actually doing this malware scanning in real time. So as soon as the file's uploaded, it's checked for malware, and then it can be quarantined in real time. You can see if you are infected, replacing the core files, updating the themes and plugins, scanning with WordFence, changing all your passwords. So this is kind of the pain in the butt you run into. If it's a really bad incident, you might have to rebuild the entire cPanel account. So see, this is the huge downfall to a compromised WordPress, is you have to do a lot of stuff, and it takes a lot of time, and it can be expensive, especially if you pay someone to do it for you. So I have this post to talk about, the downside to not properly securing your website. So now with Immunify, this adds that extra layer of protection to your website. It's like, having a home with locks and security system, but adding the camera, right? So it's just another huge layer, and this is something you're not seeing at a lot of other leading web hosts out there. So again, this is 100% free at NameHero on all of our basic hosting and our reseller hosting packages. Okay, so with all that said, let me show you where this is. So when you sign up, and at NameHero, I'm going to demonstrate today on our web hosting, and I'm going to demonstrate showing our Plus Cloud here. So I'm not going to bore you with the sign up. I'm going to go right into the client area. But this is the package, and again, all of these packages include it, and the same for our resellers. All of our reseller accounts include this. So if you're reselling to your own customers, you get to offer this to your customers for free. And this is a huge selling point. Your customers will like this. So, keep that in mind when you are reselling. So if I go into my client area, and again, if you want to follow along, I'm just going to hover over my name and log in. And once I'm logged in, it looks like this. So I'm going to navigate to my Plus Cloud package, and I'm going to click on Cloud Web Hosting. And my Plus Cloud package is right here for keydiets.com. That's the one I'm going to demonstrate on. So when I click on this, I want to go to cPanel. So under Actions, I click Log into cPanel. And that brings me right on in here. So now, to show this is enabled on your account and to where you can manage it, you go on down here to Security, and you'll see this icon called Immunify 360, and you can click on it. And when you do, this shows the malware scanner. it shows any malware that's been detected. And you can see this account, I actually created it right before I started this video. And of course, there's no malware on it. But if malware is ever detected on your account, it's going to show up inside of here. And it'll give you all the details. Now, I kind of wanted to show a real life example, but I didn't want to out someone's site, right? You know, Name Heroes privacy and stuff. We didn't want to show you a real life example. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. And then unless you unfortunately get malware, then you'll see it in your account. But this is where it does show up. And you can see they've got screenshots on their website here. I think under features, if I click on malware, I'll see some... I'll see the screenshot of what it looks like. Yes. So, you know, here's kind of an example table of what it would look like here. You know, the username, the file, and all that. And if you look in here, it's just going to show, it'll show you the file. It won't show you the username. This is where it would show up here. And of course you can auto refresh it, but hopefully you don't have so much malware you have to auto refresh it. But there's also a new feature they're adding that, so once it detects malware, it quarantines it, meaning that it takes it out of the web space and keeps it from being executed. They're working on a feature that is in beta testing right now that will actually clean that up for you. So let's say you have a file that's penetrative malware, it can actually be cleaned up and with one click with Immunefi. So that's coming out here soon. I know it's in beta. We've been testing it. Really good stuff. But basically, this allows you to check the malware inside a cPanel. You know, I think that's the main feature here: seeing the malware, seeing if malware is detected on your website right here inside a cPanel. Now, if you notice, some scripts sometimes may appear to be malware, a false positive. So a developer might encrypt their software. They might encrypt their plugin, and Immunefi might think it's malware. So, of course, that happens, right? So sometimes legit files get added. So if we go here to ignore list, you can click here and you can enter the path to the file and ignore it. So that way it won't get quarantined by the malware scanner. So if you have a plugin, I know some of the backup plugins, you know, sometimes they'll have some JavaScript or something in there that looks a little fishy and needs to be whitelisted. So you can whitelist any files in there. And so the malware scanner will ignore it. You know, if you know it's a legitimate file. Any questions, always ask us and we can help make that determination for you if it's a false positive or not. But you do have that option. So you can see, you know, if a file is quarantined and you have the option to ignore it. There's a history tab here. So this will show you the malware history, you know, of what came in. And here's that new feature, the cleanup request history. So if it detects malware on your site, you can actually click to have it cleaned up. And then you'll see the result of that request here. And so again, this is coming soon. Not yet available, but it is in beta. And we have tested the beta option, and it is awesome because, you know, basically, if you've ever had a website infected with malware, you know how hard it is to clean. Well, this is actually going to automate that cleanup process for you. So we are definitely excited to get that live. Next is the proactive defense. And so this is going to actually, this monitors your files in real time and so if it detects a malicious shell script, you can log it or you can kill it immediately. And so I think the default is log only. So meaning that you'll see these events in here. So if you're seeing events happen in here and it's malicious, it's not a script that you want, you can either turn it to kill mode, or you can go into your file manager and delete it, or you can ask us and we can delete it for you. So I know that some backup plugins, for example, they do create false positives here because they're backing up your whole site. They're packaging it. And so sometimes Immunefi might think that's an attacker, you know, taking your whole website and packaging it. So again, just like the malware scanner, this has an ignore list to where you can ignore it. And so make sure to use that as well for the malware as well as the proactive defense. So again, this prevents attacks through PHP scripts. And this will show you any events that have been detected for your specific account. So not only are you detecting the malware, we're able to detect the potential malicious attacks that are happening. You've got a settings tab here. This shows you what to do when it detects it. So quarantine in place, and this will actually change the permissions to nothing. You can change it to just display in the dashboard, or you can have it delete permanently. I personally like to quarantine it and kill the permissions, and then I like to investigate myself, just in case it is a false positive. If it's not, I can go in and delete it. But that's basically all there is to it inside of cPanel here. And you have all these features. And again, the back end's even more complex. It's running, but you don't have to worry about that. This just gives you that real-time view. So look at it like a security camera on your home. This is the actual camera footage, right? So if someone tries to break into your house, you go back and you have the camera footage. Well, this is your footage for the malware protection for your WordPress website. And again, this doesn't require any plugins. And again, this isn't just WordPress. So if you have Joomla, Drupal, any other scripts running out there, this protects against all that stuff. It's your entire cPanel account, and it automatically just runs. There's no turning it on and no having to really configure it. There is some options here to where you can set this to log only. If it's causing you some problems, like a lot of false positives, you could disable it, but just keep an eye on this here to make sure it's legitimate. I like to leave it in log, and then of course I see stuff, I can enter it into kill mode. But you do have the history and, of course, the malware scanning. So, we're really excited to have this malware scanner right inside of your cPanel, so you can see this stuff in real time, and you can take, leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else, to really keeping your website clean, safe, and secure. And if I go to my WordPress dashboard here, you can see there's nothing inside of here. There's no plugins I've had to add. It just works on here. Of course, if you want to add something like WordFence or other security plugins, you can too. You can always add other layers of protection for your website, but this is just one that is now available inside of cPanel and will help keep your website safe and secure. So if you have any questions on this, feel free to let us know. Again, I'm super pumped to have this out on all new accounts. And again, if you're an existing customer at Name Hero, we will get it on the server that you're on here in 2019. But just another reason to use this here at Name Hero. It's our goal not only to be extremely fast and reliable, but also to be secure. And partnering up here and adding Immunefi 360 is another way, another step forward to providing that security that you absolutely deserve for your account. So thanks for watching, and feel free to like this video on YouTube, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, as we're going to be continuing to post tons of content on WordPress and websites and hosting in general. And of course, share it on your social media if you'd be so kind. So thanks so much for watching and using us here at NameHero.com.